All right, hey, it's Rob. Good afternoon. I made a video about this topic and I just happened to take a look at it and something must have happened in the edit. I was missing, I don't know, half of the video. So I'm just going to remake this video. And the topic for today is, what did Michael Jackson wear and what did he eat during the making of the Dangerous record? Hi, I'm Rob Disner again, if you don't know me. And I worked in the studio where Michael Jackson recorded the album Dangerous. Oh, we're talking like 35 years ago now, between 1990 and the end of 1991, about a 2-year period there. And I saw him every day, and people have asked this question, at different times, just, what was he wearing? What did he eat? What did he do all day? So, I'm going to tell a couple stories related to that. First of all, what did he wear? Well, he wore the same thing every day. I'm going to put a thumbnail in there and you can see exactly what his outfit was. That's a Polaroid picture that I took of him when he was playing Jenga with Brad Sundberg, one of the assistant engineers of Dangerous. And when I started working with Michael, I happened to notice after a few days that he pretty much wore the same thing. All right, maybe he wore a couple different things throughout the 2 years that I had been with him, but for the most part, he wore what he called his uniform, or maybe what I called his uniform. Every day, the same exact thing. He wore just a plain red button-down shirt, long sleeves, I think, and he wore black, dress pants, dressy black, pants like you would wear, with the suit or whatever, with a nice shirt. And he wore penny loafers with the pennies in them and pink socks. And that was it. So every day Michael came in, he looked the same, he wore the same clothes. And of course, I was kind of curious and I thought, does this guy own 150 red shirts? Or what's the deal? Why does he do this? So after the first week or so when I worked with him, someone knocked on the door and it was a laundry service. And they sure enough had a whole rack of, I don't know how many, a couple dozen red shirts, a couple dozen black pressed pants. And so he had a service that would just deliver these clothes either to the studio or to wherever he happened to be living at the time. Of course, he had a few different residences. He had up north in California, at the Neverland Ranch, where he would go on occasion. And he used to drive himself, actually, in the beginning. That's a whole other video. But anyway, I'm not sure how he got back and forth after he stopped driving himself. But I know he went up there sometimes. He stayed at the family house, which is on Havenhurst in Encino, which most of the fans know about, that all the family members have lived at various times. And he also had what we called the crash pad, and it was like an apartment, I think in mid-Wilshire. And you went in, I kind of remember it had a sunken living room or something or other, like a big high-rise, 70s apartment building with carpeting. And I don't think there was much in there at all. I just went one time, but I feel like there was maybe enough, like a bed and a couch and, a couple plates, couple bowls, whatever, like a bachelor pad. And he would go there if he didn't want to drive all the way to Neverland or deal with his family or whatever. So he had this other location he could go to. Anyway, so wherever he happened to be, these clothes were delivered and he wore the same outfit every day. I did ask him at one point and he said, I don't want to think about it. So I always try to imitate his voice. He would say, Robbie, I don't really want to think about it. So that's probably a terrible Michael Jackson impersonation. Anyway, what he said was basically he wants to think about music and he wants to concentrate on important things. He doesn't want to think about what he's wearing. And so this is like his uniform that he wears in the studio. Every day he shows up at the studio. He's going to wear his uniform, do his job, and wear the red shirt and the black pants, and that's it. So that's what he wore. And what did he eat? That's a whole other subject. So I'll start off by saying that the Record One studio is set up like a house. It still exists and it's still there. I'd like to go see it again. I haven't been there in many years. But like I said, it's set up like a house. It had a living room. That photo that I used for the thumbnail was taken in the living room. There was a table there. There was even a fireplace. No TV, though. There was a TV in the back room, but that almost never got used. Anyway, so the living room had just like a table and chairs and a couch and just like a hangout place in the studio. Right next to it was a tiled kitchen, and the kitchen had I know it had a sink and a refrigerator. I guess it had a stove or some way to cook food. I think maybe. Again, this was a long time ago, but anyway, so we had a kitchen. And we had a budget to buy food for the sessions. And we'd go spend a couple $100 a week and load up the refrigerator and load up the cabinets with junk and potato chips and, milk and cheese and normal stuff you'd have in our refrigerator. I don't know. We had a list of things we would pick up for Michael. And for the staff and the people that worked there could go in the kitchen and make a sandwich or do whatever. And so the first thing I noticed, Michael never got anything from the kitchen. Never. He would never go walk on his own that I saw, open up the fridge and get something. He just never did it. So I was very curious. But anyway, he had other options. And, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. He had other options. He had a personal chef who came a few days a week. I don't know, 2-3 days a week. And his personal chef cooked very simple things for him, like little pieces of, chicken and like grilled chicken and fish and stuff like that, but really nothing fancy at all. And like little plates, I remember. And that's what he would eat a lot. We had this catering team that came in called the Slam Dunk Sisters. They would do like a big, blowout meal, like on a, weekend or whatever, if there was a special event or something or other, and they would, do corn and fried chicken and baked stuff and, just, a whole deal. I think it was mostly like Southern type cooking, but, so that food was available once in a while when they came. We, of course, also did many, many, many runs to restaurants, especially for lunch. And I'm sure for dinner as well, and would just, get orders and pick them up. This was way before the internet. This was way before you could do any, fax anything or whatever. I would just have to, call it in, let people know what we wanted. And, I would either go walk if the restaurant was close or drive and pick up whatever they wanted. That was my job as a studio runner. That's what I did there. I just went and got lunch, basically. That was my job for 2 years. So they'd order a lot of food in. He had his private chef. We had the Slam Dunk Sisters once in a while. And all the extra food in the kitchen. And still, Michael never seemed to eat anything. I would never see him eating at all. So I'm sure he did. I just don't remember that he ate very much in general. And then the story I always like to tell is the story about McDonald's. The Studio Record 1 on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, California, right down the street from a McDonald's. It's like 2 buildings over. And one day Michael came in and he said, Robbie, he said, I want McDonald's. I said, okay. I said, what do you want, Michael? He said, McDonald's. I said, well, they have a lot of things on the menu. What do you want? Said, I don't know. So I remember thinking I think he was in his 30s, 35 or something like that. And I just remember thinking, he doesn't know what they have at McDonald's. Of course he knows. He's been to McDonald's. He knows what they have. Anyway, he liked to act helpless at times. And so I said, okay. I went to McDonald's and I ordered one of everything off the menu just for Michael, just to try it out and put it on we had a silver tray. And so I had a Big Mac, and I had a chicken McNuggets and a chicken sandwich and a filet of fish sandwich. I put whatever you could buy at McDonald's at the time on this tray and brought it into him, like the king. And he tried this, and he took a little bite of that, and he tried this. And then he tried the filet of fish sandwich, and he said, ooh, I like that. Well, now we knew what Michael liked from McDonald's. So We wouldn't go very often. Maybe I went 3 or 4 times in the 2 years that we were there. But, whenever we went to McDonald's, I would know that I could get Michael a Filet-O-Fish sandwich. It would be something that he would eat. So, yeah, those are the fun stories I like telling regarding just the daily life of what it was like there in the studio. Again, like, he really just did not seem to eat very much. I feel like he really just did not take care of his health in that way. And he really, like I said, on his own, would never choose to get, food from the kitchen. I remember one time he said, "Robbie, I'm hungry." I said, "What do you want? We have a whole kitchen full of food. I can make you a sandwich, turkey, peanut butter, jelly, like whatever you want. I'm happy to get it for you, make it for you, put it together, put it on a plate or whatever." And he just said, "Forget it," and walked away. I don't know. I don't know if he ever ate one thing out of that kitchen that we spent $200 a week, filling up with every imaginable thing you could get, just in case he would want it. That's how it was back then. All right, those are my stories that I wanted to share today. Like I said, I had made this video earlier, and I looked, and the video was 2 minutes long, and none of this stuff was in there. So there it is. I welcome your comments, and again, enjoy talking about that period of my life, which was very interesting and exciting, and in retrospect, even more so than during the time when I did it, when it was just my job. But all right, thanks for watching. Later.